Hey, Happy New Year, everyone. 2025. This is the first vlog post for the new year. Talking watercolor. Hi, I'm Rusty Nelson, the old Rusty professor here, talking to you about drawing and watercolor and learning how to do this stuff at any age. And I'm looking forward to this new year. I've been spending a lot of time working on getting my goals established and the things I want to get accomplished with building out and doing more things with whatever it is that this YouTube channel is going to be able to afford options that I can work with. So anyway, that's where we're at. This is the first, I don't know what to call this, like vlog 38 or season 2 episode 1. So I'm kind of mulling that whole process over as well. So whatever it is, whether it's vlog 38 or episode 1 of season 2, here we are. We're ready to get after it and get started. Had a great holiday. We went out and seen the grandkids and had a lot of fun and watched the mayhem that accrued with the opening of presents and it was just chaos. So, but it was a lot of fun. Got to see both of my kids, my 2 daughters, and they were both at the festivities, and we did have a lot of fun. So, but back here in the Midwest, ready to get started and get the new year going. I'm still in the midst of my between semester break. Normally within higher education, it's about a 3-week to 4-week lull between the first semester and the second semester for the school year, and I'm looking at 2025 being kind of a like my second season, right? And so some of my goals that I'm wanting to accomplish this year is to get better with my content. So I think I've managed to accomplish a lot of the things that I was expecting to do in 2024 and exceeded them, but still my ability to put together good content, and a lot of people are saying that they do enjoy what I'm doing so far, even as ill-prepared as some of my videos turn out to be. But I do want to get better at the actual content and make a better video. I have learned a lot that a lot of the YouTube people, instructing people how to get started in YouTube, they tell you that your first year is really about learning, and that's definitely the truth. There's so many things I did learn about this endeavor, being on YouTube and creating tutorials. I have learned so much that I'm going to hopefully work to perfect in season 2 and in 2025. So that's the plan there. Yeah, I'm definitely looking at expanding out and maybe doing some mini courses or workshops and develop and try to get started developing some revenue streams, some passive revenue streams that, again, I'm trying to get all this kind of thing up and running and set up before I retire in a year and a half. So I have 3 more semesters yet to go to see if I can put my ducks in a row and get organized before retirement hits. So well, that's retirement from higher education. I'm going to continue doing a lot of this stuff, and I'm looking forward to doing it and continuing bringing these lessons to everybody out in the YouTube and environment and the universe. Working on improving content. Definitely looking at this new year as a second semester. So we'll be doing fundamental drawing and watercolor, kind of ramp back around to the beginning of what I do every semester. I'll go back and start a new course. It may be the same topic, might be a different topic, but I typically will start at the same point and then work to refine and make that semester even better. I can't think of a semester that I've taught the same way from year to year. Although there's a similar format, I just kind of work to improve and get better at what it is that I'm bringing to my students and make adjustments on the fly. Each semester's and in each classroom full of different students, they bring different demands and needs. So that's one thing that's kind of cool about YouTube, is that you guys can tell me, drop those comments right into the video, whatever video you're watching, drop me those comments, or even on my community tab on my channel. Drop me those things and I can react to them and bring the topics that maybe I didn't do a good enough job in the video explaining, and now I can maybe follow up on with a brief description, either in a talking watercolor episode or in a completely individual video that might answer the questions better than I did in whatever video. And maybe something I've totally overlooked as well. So drop those comments in there. They're really important and really help me to kind of provide the things that you're wanting to know and learn. And I've been really excited about the enthusiasm and the people coming in, and have definitely hit my age group, my 65 plus, and so it's essentially the baby boomers, the Gen Xers, and looking to expand into the millennials. And the funny part is, I was looking at my stats over the holidays that the smallest group of viewers of my YouTube stuff are the students that I typically teach up at the university. So I think I got every age group pretty well covered at this moment, but definitely want to expand and get into the other groups of ages and people either wanting to get back into drawing after a brief, or it could be a long time, setting it aside and doing other things while life is kind of been real important, and you're having to pay attention to it, right? So maybe you have time now to get back into drawing and painting and doing those things that you were once interested in. And that's really the point and the whole purpose, is to hopefully inspire you and to convince you to pick up that brush, pick up that pencil again. So, and that's been one of the things I've been working on in the last 10 years, 15 years, well, probably the whole time I've been in higher education. Is, when I first started, I was all about trying to figure out the right things to teach and then how to teach them. But it ultimately, within the last, especially when COVID hit, we really kind of realized that it was even more important was the idea of figuring out how to motivate and inspire the students. The learning, all the techniques, all the information, the stuff that I have and can impart, it goes nowhere unless they're inspired to use it and pick up on it. So that's really been one of the main things we've been working on very hard in the program, is to figure out better ways of engaging and inspiring the students and getting them enthused so they can go after the information, because we're not the only resources now. It used to be when I was in college, man, it was that person in the classroom. They were really the easiest access, other than getting into textbooks, of gaining that information. So now with YouTube, there is so many more resources and other sources of information and inspiration for students to go in and watch and go after. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to accomplish in 2025 with the channel, is get better, be more inspirational, maybe more entertaining. I think some of my better videos in the last year have been things where I've kind of went with my gut feeling and did some off-the-cuff things that people enjoyed. So maybe, and that's another reason I'm working real hard with these talking watercolors, is to get more comfortable on screen and to get better at being extemporaneous, because I know from my past being in speech classes and having to stand up and do formal presentations and things like that, that I do horribly with written scripts. And that's one of the things that every YouTube guru tells you to do, is to write out a script. I'm horrible. Whenever I have a script, it becomes instant constipation. And so I hate them. I hate scripts, so I'm just working real hard to get better at speaking off the top of my head and thinking on the fly. And sometimes those two things do not sync up properly, and there might be multiple takes. I think there's going to be a couple of edits in this screed today. So anyway, I've been going on pretty good. Let's see, it's almost 10 minutes in. I don't have a whole lot more. I do want to let you know that Oh, I know what it was. I had one really good comment over a break from, it was the still life tutorial that I posted, and I did. My last watercolor tutorial of 2024 was a still life, a teapot, apple, and an orange, I believe it was. One of the commenters asked, why do I'm always saying this in several of my other videos, and I realize it too, that I end up saying, it's a little overworked, but, she goes, why do I say that? And it's like, well, the easy answer is that I have in my head bouncing around a comment or a saying. I think it was Tony Couch told one of my colleagues up at the university. He actually took a watercolor course with Tony Couch, and he said that Tony Couch said that that watercolor is like playing golf. The person with the least strokes wins. So that's where it's always bouncing around in my head. So the idea is to be expressive, descriptive, and artistic with as little effort as possible. So sometimes when I'm working with the watercolor tutorials, especially on good paper, that good paper that takes so long to dry, it just seems like I'm just murdering the process with too many strokes, too much fussing, and probably too much detail even. So that's where I'm coming from. Whenever I say that, I have a sense in the back of my mind that I have done it properly. So I've only had maybe 4 or 5 watercolors that I have worked on that I have ever felt like it was a good game of golf. So I had just the right amount of strokes, the minimal amount of strokes to get that piece done. Otherwise, like I say this a lot last year in 2024, that I'm a recovering realist and I'm a fuss butt, right? So I can always tell when I get students in my class up at the university, those who are just like me, the fuss butts, and I tease them a lot because I can recognize their desires for control and detail and realism. It's just begging to get out, so much so that I'm always teasing them, and then also trying to get them to loosen up. So I can relate. So, and if you're facing that, trust me, I can relate. I can understand. You do have to kind of go through some various stages as you're learning to do all of this stuff, and it's okay to do it. And don't let me, make light of what problems I see in myself as an artist affect you with your journey. Your journey is going to be different than mine, and you have different goals and outcomes also as well. And you may be looking at a whole set of different types of artists and watercolor people that have different styles than what I do. And then ultimately comes down to your influences, who you like, who you want to be like, and the things you can do, what you can't do. All these things roll together to create that sense of style that you're going to be working with. So don't get frustrated, be persistent, make 1% improvement every time you sit down to do a watercolor. If you're having trouble with your scenes, go back to working on your basics and go over those fundamental things, the glazing, the washes, these stages and steps. Practice all that stuff without even worrying about making artwork. Just become more familiar and comfortable with the process and the techniques. Creativity, once you get all that stuff kind of ingrained as muscle memory, the creativity will be unleashed, and you really kind of go to town with your artwork. So anyway, that is it for today's Talking Watercolor. Hey, I'm Rusty Nelson again. Welcome new viewers, and I'm looking forward to 2025 and getting a new semester started, and we'll get going with a couple of drawing tutorials and a fresh step off the boat watercolor tutorials as well, coming up in the coming week or two. So we'll see you then, and if you got any value out of this video today, please give me a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you next week in Talking Watercolor.